Red Sox have a decision to make very soon, with the winter meetings approaching, about who's going to play first base for them in 2013. About a year ago, this wasn't a problem. He had Adrian Gonzalez locked up for a long time, and the expectation was that he'd be productive throughout the life of the contract, or at least enough of it to justify it. Problem is, well, problem from one point of view, is that he was traded, along with others, in the Nick Punto trade to the Los Angeles Dodgers last August. So now there's no first baseman. The reason Adrian Gonzalez was traded for and signed in the first place is because the first base market was going to be tough over the next few seasons, and now the hole that Boston wanted to avoid has to be filled once more. There are multiple options. Mike Napoli is currently the most popular in the Boston front office, if reports are to be believed, but he's holding out for a fourth year, and since Boston has only offered 3 so far, they have to look elsewhere just in case Napoli's snatched up by someone else. Right now, that somewhere else is Adam LaRoche. The problem with LaRoche is that while his peak was solid, and he was an above-average first baseman then, he's had some issues since that make locking him up to a multi-year deal a little bit sketchy. Possibly more sketchy than signing Napoli for the 4th year that he's requesting. The thing with LaRoche as well is that under the new collective bargaining agreement, there are now compensation picks for players who receive a qualifying offer. They no longer have the Type A designation and all of that. It's forgotten about, so don't even worry about that if you don't know what it is. But the qualifying offers mean that the Red Sox would have to give up their 2nd-round draft pick in order to get LaRoche. So you've got a guy who might not be that good to begin with, and you'd have to pay on top of the actual money in years in order to acquire his services. It's a little sketchy, especially if you're not a big fan of LaRoche, which I'm assuming you figured out in the last minute and a half. I am not. But someone has to play first base, so it makes sense that they would be talking to LaRoche. It's just not the most appealing option out there, but sadly, in a relative sense, it might be one of the more appealing options out there because the first base market, as said, is almost dried up completely. So, this is where you hope that the Red Sox are as Team Napoli as you are, and that this is simply a negotiating tactic to show Napoli's camp that the job in Boston isn't as open as it might be, and maybe you shouldn't wait out that 4th year.